I'm so excited you could bury me alive. Stay tuned for an interview with the lovely Crystal Chappell coming up.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Why, hello, all of you Days of Our Lives fans. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Spotlight On, where we have an exclusive sit-down interview with the very beautiful, talented, and Emmy Award-winning actress, producer, writer, all things under the sun, Miss Crystal Chappell.
Thank you, guys. That's a lovely introduction.
We're
Thank
so excited.
Yes, and of course, I can't do this by myself. I have my wonderful, dashing, witty co-host to help us.
Matthew Evan Paine, so happy to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, Crystal, there's so much to talk about because you have had such an amazing career, not only digitally now, but also just throughout the soap world.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? Just, have you ever had a moment where you sat and just reminisced about the things that you've accomplished thus far?
You know, there isn't, well, my kids bring it up. They'll say, hey, somebody at school said that you were on their show, whatever show that might be. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm married to Lawrence Alamay, right? So it's hard not to miss the whole Days connection, you know what I mean?
Well, Vivian can't be upset anymore.
No. No, we had lunch a couple of weeks ago. We shared some nachos. We're good.
Good. No more being buried alive.
No, not for me. Not for me.
You mentioned you had kids, and for some reason, this question just popped up. I suddenly picture you at some point in their lives, like going to their events and things like that, and having the parents look at you, excuse me, and go, it's Carly Manning, or it's Jane, or oh, it's Olivia. Like, did you ever have those experiences?
Sure. Well, they don't really say any. They'll say something to my children, but not to me. You know. They kind of go through my kids.
Yeah. So it's almost like the safer way to just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to be, a parent. It's a parent relationship.
Yeah.
So they're being cool about it, which is kind of neat. I like that.
That's amazing. So let's start back at the beginning.
All My Children was your first soap, yeah?
Yeah.
What was that like? What was the whole audition process like?
Oh, it was great. Well, I was in New York studying to be an actor, and I went to one of those soap opera audition classes and met some good casting directors, and Judy Wilson was one of them, and she said, come do some extra work and then come by my office and say hi. So I did, and she said, here, read this. And, it took everything I had to work up the nerve just to go saying, did she really mean it? Was she just being nice?
Yeah.
And I read it, and she gave me an under, whatever, under 9,
under 10,
under 5, whatever it was, or a day player, I forget what it was. And I got to work with Maurice Bernard.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Secretly maybe to you, but not secretly to Matthew or any of our fans, I am waiting for the day where I have my under 5 on Days. That's my little goal and dream to have one day.
Excellent.
Yeah. So one day, I'm just putting it out in the universe.
Put it out there.
That it'll happen. Was it intimidating for you to work on a soap, and especially one that All My Children was like, so popular then?
Yeah. Well, I was a fan, so I grew up watching it, so I knew everybody, and that's I'm going to sit there and gawk at people instead of work, and I think I was actually late my first day, which is probably the last day. You don't want to be late for those things, and but it was a wonderful experience, and everyone was so nice, and I knew I wanted to do it from that point on. So,
was there anyone that day that maybe kind of calmed your nerves, or? Well,
Maurice Bernard is a very kind man, and I had a director who was really giving me some crap. And what's funny is that my husband later on worked with this director, and so Maurice sort of buffered himself between me and this director, and basically said, "Back off," So he kind of was my knight in shining armor for the day, and I've always been grateful for that.
Oh, no.
Do you still keep in touch with Maurice?
I don't really know him. Other than being in the same daytime community. But, I kind of have that little connection in my head. And so, no, I mean, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. And do you still keep in touch with Judy Wilson, who was All My Children, and now she's Young and the Restless?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We're Facebook friends. I mean, that's where I talk to a lot of people and catch up is through Facebook.
Well, nothing is official until
it's on Facebook.
You're on Facebook. Yeah.
Speaking of Facebook, you are very present on social media.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed, I follow you on Twitter. Every time you post, you always seem to inspire other people to either follow their dreams or always have words of encouragement for hard workers. And do you feel like you have any wise words for those people who are trying to make a career in acting or who are trying to break into soap operas?
I think for any desire that you have, you just want to work really, really hard and don't quit. You know, if you got it in your heart and you got it in, in your being to get there, then you'll get there. You'll get that under 5.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
You are inspiring.
You will, and you just got that. I'm a big believer in treating yourself nice and saying I am, I will, I can
do this.
I can do this.
Yes.
So
last week we had, as you and I talked about right before the show started, we had Louise Sorel in, and I know. When I met you a couple years ago at the Daytime Emmy Awards, and I went up to you and I said you had one of the biggest storylines in daytime history, and your response was, "Which one?"
Well, aren't I something? Yeah. Well,
to me, the storyline with Vivian burying Carly alive will forever be up there. It was that storyline, and it was Marlena possessed by the devil. Are the two?
We were just talking about that.
Are the top 2 storylines? When I think of Days, I think of those 2 storylines, and I actually have a clip that the fans have been asking for, which actually was the clip that got me hooked on Days of Our Lives. So
really?
yes, let's take a look.
She loves me not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do you know what I've done? It's Vivian. It's Vivian. It's Vivian. I love you, Lawrence. I love you, Nikki. I'm buried alive.
Oh my gosh, it still gives me chills.
That's great.
I know it's a little bit difficult here to see in the studio. It's a little bit more clear on the screen. We are on a delay, but when you see that back, do you ever see those old clips?
Only when people post them. Yeah, I do. No, it's great. It's great. I just think Louise is so awesome. I just think she's so awesome.
She told us a great story about this scene. Was that she actually went back to her dressing room because I guess it wasn't working at first when they were first filming it. And so she was like, give me lunch to think about it. And she went back to her dressing room and she heard the director just kind of say, pull the cameras back because they have no idea what she's going to do. And that's what she ended up doing. And she just ended up doing the flower and rolling over the grave and everything like that. And I thought that was an interesting story to hear. Yeah.
Did they end up shooting her stuff separately from you being in the, because obviously you weren't really buried.
Yeah, they shot the coffin separate. It was a separate set.
What did you have to play off of?
Nothing. I mean, you might have had somebody there reading some lines.
Okay.
That kind of thing. But, or maybe the actor. I don't remember if she came out. Sometimes the actor comes out. But, no, you just kind of play the situation.
Were they difficult scenes to shoot in such a confined...
Well, obviously the side of the coffin was cut out. So I could see the studio completely. So, no, I mean, it's just creepy lying in a coffin.
Yeah.
It's just creepy.
Completely.
Yeah. What did you think when you found out that was the storyline?
Well, I didn't really know how they were going to do it. It sounded fun to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Any idea it was going to turn into?
No.
Such a huge thing.
Yeah. No idea.
But that's an ode to just how talented you guys were with that storyline, because I think if you didn't put yourself in that position, maybe it wouldn't have played as well. So that's a nod to you guys for making it happen.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Louise was saying last week that you were
Coffin
just brilliant in there, and that you were so believably petrified that you had actually, when you realized, oh my, I've been buried alive. Yeah. Brilliant work. Oh. Thank you for an amazing storyline. I think I speak on behalf of the fans, as I am one. So thank you.
I got hooked on Days very late. I remember the first scene that I saw was Marlena she was like in this cage, and I was like, why is that woman trapped in a cage, and why is that man so obsessed?
I love that you ask these questions.
Yeah. Well, you know, because I was against soap operas. Like, I didn't understand them. I didn't know why people watch them. And then I accidentally watched Days, which has been the only soap that I've watched. And I just remember, like, okay, you know, I'll watch it the next day to see what happens, because I figured, oh, it'll wrap up by the end of the week or tomorrow. By the third day, there were all these brand new people, and I was like on the phone with a family friend, like, who's that person? Why is that person locked up? What? And ever since then, I've been hooked.
That's how we do it.
And luckily, thanks to technology like YouTube, we can go back and rewatch things that we've missed, such as I've went back and watched The Possession of Marlena, because everyone talked about it, so I had to watch it. And of course, I had to watch when you were trapped in the coffin. So thank God for technology and fans for putting it out there.
As popular as this scene was, have you had a favorite scene or a favorite storyline on other soap operas?
Well, sure, and that goes back to that statement. I actually feel like I've had some really good story. I've been lucky to have some really good storylines on different, really, Guiding Light, and even Maggie the Juggling Nun. I have just funny memories of her as well, and it really comes down to the experience I had on the show and how much fun it was. But no, with Olivia, I just love playing, the sort of the third wheel and all of these relationships. It was fun because I never had to sort of get involved with anything. But certainly wrapping up Guiding Light, there was the Otalia storyline that I loved, and going back to Days, I loved the opportunity to have Carly, suffer an addiction and have go through that and what that was like, and they gave me tremendous leeway on what I could do, so it was a lot of fun and challenging.
Now, you mentioned Guiding Light, which was another very notable storyline when your character fell in love with Natalia. And there was a lesbian storyline. And I'm sure it was a breakthrough moment for soap and for television and things like that. How did that feel for you to be a part of such another notable storyline?
Well, it feels great, It's interesting, though, because we were on our way off the air, so there was definitely this feeling of, it was terribly sad, and you're grieving the loss of something that you've spent 10 years doing, and a family that you love. And at the same time, there was this really important story that was getting incredible with, YouTube and social media, was getting this kind of attention that I hadn't experienced in quite some time on daytime. So to me, it was very relevant and important story to tell, and I think they did a beautiful job.
It was were you nervous at all about doing the storyline, or any concerns about where they were taking the storyline at all?
The only concern, I wasn't nervous about doing it. I was excited about doing it. It was something different, and I thought, good for you. If I was nervous about anything, it's always that fear as an actor, especially on an ongoing serial type show, where somebody's going to get scared and change their mind. And then all of a sudden, you as a viewer, I'm sure you can sense that story go.
Oh, we sense that a lot. We sense that a lot of times.
For whatever the reason, but I was concerned that it was going to be too much, and that people were going to, not do it justice.
And the fans loved it.
Oh yeah.
That's exciting.
Now, I read somewhere, going back to Days, because you were on Days for about 3 years. Back in like mid-90s, like 93. Yes. And then you came back in 2009.
Yes.
I read somewhere where you gave an interview where when you came back for your second stint, that you just had a lot of bad energy that first go around, and you wanted to present something different and have
I
really
needed to heavily sage that studio of my energy.
So and
of your own energy.
Of my own energy
And
from the 90s,
yeah. And it got me wondering, like, was there something that happened during that time, or were you like, what was Crystal Chappell like during that stint?
You know, I just was very young and overworked, and just didn't know what to do with the attention, and I was, you know, when you're in that state of fatigue all the time. Yeah. There's just nothing reasonable that really comes out, and I think that I was on set a lot. I felt like I made people's days uncomfortable. I felt like, you know, I was just grumpy. Nobody wants to hang around with a grumpy person, and it's pervasive. So that's really what I meant by that, was I needed to go back and I wanted to make people laugh and show them that it's all good, and because they work very hard, these crews, and you just want to, it's a long day, they're on their feet, and you just want to make it good for them. So I feel like, you know, in my second go around, I got to do that. You know, I got kisses blown at me, and we laughed, and you know, we take our work seriously, but we don't have to take ourselves too seriously, and I think that's sort of what I suffered from the first go around.
It had been about 16 years since we had seen Carly Manning on the show. What was it like returning? So much, you know, so much time has passed, so many things have happened, and then getting that call that you're going to come back to set, like, what was that feeling like?
Well, it's great. Whenever anybody offers you a job, it's like super. There were some other things happening. I just kind of was curious about Carly, and where she had been, and wanted to see what that would be like. So it was great, though. It was great to go back, and same studios, and unfortunately a lot of the same sets. I'm sure they want to change those up, but you know, times are tough. And it was nice to sort of be back in that world of Salem again.
And when you came back, it's like they introduced a little of the old, especially with the triangle between Hope and Bo, and but then you got introduced to a new kid and Daniel, and just so I feel like Carly came up from the coffin and is like, poof, life is now like in session, happening again. What were the moments that you enjoyed about the second stint and working with Sean Christian and Molly Burnett and some of the? And
it was all good. I mean, Louise coming back. It was a lot of fun.
Up to her usual antics.
Yes, but it's the bantering. I mean, honestly, of all the couples on the show that I was involved in, I think the Vivian Carly thing was kind of fun. But I loved the Bo Carly Hope triangle. I thought that was interesting, and for a time there, and then loved working with Molly and Sean. All of that was new. I mean, there's always some hidden child. That you didn't know about. I thought I was barren. I thought I couldn't have kids. But okay.
Nope.
I got one good one in me.
And that was that one good one.
There you go. So.
Now you have worked on. It seems like all of the soaps. You've been on a ton of them. One Life to Live, Santa Barbara, Guiding Light, Bold and the Beautiful. Other than your soap operas, which we'll talk about a little bit later, have you had a favorite soap that you just your favorite experience?
Well, look, I spent 10 years at Guiding Light, and like I said, it's, you know, I have a sweet spot for it. Just it's no longer here. You know. And Santa Barbara was like one of my first jobs. I have good stories on each of these shows. You know what I mean? It's just I think I'm at a place now in my life where I look back and especially with everything that I'm doing now, I go, wow, what an honor and what a privilege. And I got these really fun out of the box stories. I mean, I still like the Buried Alive story. People still remember that, and certainly Otalia and Maggie the Juggling Nun, but I got to work with all these different people too, all these different actors, and make friends on all of these shows, the crew. I have such a respect for all of them. So I don't have a favorite except that Guiding Light was my home for 10 years. And to this day, you know, when if I call out to any of my Guiding Light peeps, they will come. They will come, and I will do the same for them. So it's something that happens, I think, when your show passes. Because it's past. It's not. But that's what it kind of is.
It's,
you know,
it's a loss. What was the last day on the Guiding Light set like?
It was fun. It was a definitely. We had been told on April 1st that we were going off the air, and we worked until August 12th. Okay, I flew out to LA on the 13th, had a fitting on the 14th for days, and started on the 17th. So I went boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
But during that April to August period, after a while, we were like, oh, this is like waiting a long time.
Yeah.
But we had fun. So on the last day, every time somebody finished their scene, we would call out, you know, how long that person's been on the show. The producer would do that. And then I think it was Grant Alexander who walked around and gave everyone a shot of tequila. So he just went up on it like a waiter. He went up and had a little tray with a little tequila shot. And so, yeah.
The last episode, I was not a Guiding Light viewer. But I did watch the last episode where it was an outdoor scene. The lighthouse?
Yeah.
Were those was that actually the last day of shooting outdoors?
They shot all of that out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we didn't, we shot, you know, according to, I don't know, sets at that point. At that point, we were out of the studio.
Okay.
We were out of CBS
Got it.
for 2 weeks.
Now now there are only 4 remaining soaps, and soaps seem to be what people feel like are, you know, they're slowly kind of, it's a dying genre a little bit. When the news hit that Guiding Light was ending, what did you have any thoughts of maybe what contributed to the fact that the soaps were just kind of going off one by one? Or,
you know, it's a business, and these Procter and Gamble needs to make money, and they weren't making money, and that's just really what it came down to. And I think it's what it comes down to with all of them, is that they need to make money.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. I don't know, you know, beyond that why it's you know, getting so small.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in technology. I mean, you're on your computer, and here, you know, it's all a completely different world with so many different choices now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, we're trying to keep everything alive.
Right. Right? There you go.
Now, I noticed that you were on another soap. I want to say it's The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm looking at my notes or somewhere. But you played another lesbian.
I did.
As well.
Yeah.
And as I was reading this, I was like, there's just these strings of like very interesting characters, but then it's like you played a lesbian on one show, and now it's carrying over to
one
another.
lesbian, and there you go.
and then they just typecast you as that.
There you go.
What was that character? How was that character different from the other character, the Guiding Light character that you played?
Well, there's just a different. I was really just a small cog in a very big wheel over there. I was the mother of one of the younger actors, Lindsay Godfrey, who's amazing.
Yes.
And you know, it's just. I mean, it was funny. I was working with Joanna Johnson, who's the EP of the Fosters, right? And we were doing an interview, and she said, "You know, you're now like a professional gay." And I was like, "Well, maybe I am, and that's just fine. I'll put that on my resume. See how I do."
Yeah, put that on the long list of things that you've done, and now professional gay.
That's right. That's right. But getting back to Days.
Yes.
And now a professional gay. Welcome to the club, Crystal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, you know, Days was my big break.
Yeah.
So I look back at the show, and to me, that I have such a fondness for it. You know, so to go back years later I think that was part of the draw, is that, oh my God, this is where I start. You know, there was Santa Barbara, and it was actually being on Santa Barbara that the casting director from Days at the time saw me and called me over for the role of Carly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's how that happened.
Was it Fran at that time? I can't remember.
My husband's going to be very upset that I don't know this. I don't remember, but it wasn't her. It wasn't Fran, but yeah. So because we kind of think, okay, she kind of got us together, you know.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, you've gone back to Days of Our Lives back in 2009. Would you go back again if you were invited?
You know, the thing is that I think that the show itself is doing really, really well without me, and I had such a wonderful time, and I'm so busy that I don't know what I would do or how I would do it.
Yeah.
But I certainly keep in touch with people, and you know, and I think the show is really, really terrific.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being busy, you've definitely kept yourself busy, and you've entered into the digital world, such as we are here, and you have your show Venice, the series, and that started from your character of Olivia and the popularity of that from Guiding Light.
Yeah.
What made you, besides that, what made you think, okay, I'm going to start this digital series and see how it goes?
Well, the shows were kind of my show wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
There's definitely this awareness when you start seeing things, go away, that you go, okay, well, maybe there's something else over here. But we had such a good response to the Otalia storyline that I thought, let's go do this online. There was some censorship of what the ladies could do. It was kind of silly, and now it's kind of a funny joke. But we weren't allowed to kiss, and we could like touch each other's knuckles, and and it was really kind of very limited and
loving stuff that couples would normally do.
Well, just even a peck on the cheek, we couldn't get away with.
And that was not too many years ago. That was only back in 2009.
Yeah, 8 or 9. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we've progressed.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
But it was just I wanted to go someplace where nobody could tell us what we could and couldn't do, and I've always been fascinated with computers. Like I sit there and you're doing this, and I want to just look at it too. Sorry,
it's all about you right
instinct.
here.
It's instinct. I know. I'm like, what is that? I
Yeah.
can't see anything. But yeah, I wanted to do something in the digital space, and so we jumped over there, and it's been good. We like it there. It's pretty.
Well, I think it's been better than good. It's been very successful. It's won a daytime Emmy.
We won 2
as well.
Emmys. Yeah.
How did that feel to know that your work has been recognized in a digital platform?
Well, it's great. Anytime your work is recognized, it feels amazing, especially from a community that you so love and love being a part of. And you're not really a part of it over here, but you can be part of it over there.
Right.
And it's great that they embrace that.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful. I'm very proud of the show and all the work that everyone put into it.
And Venice is now in season 5? Yes. Which is amazing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're just keeping the train going.
Yeah.
And it also features a lot of people, familiar faces from different various daytime. I know Nadia Bjorlin was on there. So gorgeous.
She's beautiful.
Yes. And your
Galen Gehring.
Galen was, and also Jessica, who played your love interest as well on Guiding Light, is your counterpart on the show Venice as well.
Yes.
So many. If you guys are huge soap fans and you haven't been watching, which you should have, make sure you go and support Venice the series. And also, my friend Harrison was on there as well.
Oh, I love him. He's my boo, my brother.
He's like a big brother / big papa for me. He's so loving and so like every time he just has this amazing energy,
positive
about him,
spirit.
I always tell him, because he's such a wonderful person, I was like, listen, I'm gonna come over to your house and just roll around so that I can get that, and then I'll
pick
just
up
leave.
On that positive energy,
and I'm
totally
just gonna leave. Yeah,
right. Absolutely, he's amazing.
He is. So I know we have a question from fans. This is from Christy via our Facebook page. She says, where are some of the Venice series artist songs available? Full-length Love, Venice, can't wait for season 5. Saw all seasons 1 through 4. Love you, Crystal Chappell. So she wants to know where the music is available.
It's on the artist's site. We don't sell it; it's theirs. But we will do. We actually rebuilt the site, so I want to be able to create a directory for people to go and look up these artists, because they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have some of them back for season 5.
Now, you have done, you're doing Venice the series, you have done The Grove and Beacon Hill. Where do you keep coming up with all of these ideas? They just keep going and going.
Well, Beacon Hill, somebody hired me they wrote it, and it was their show, and I love Beacon Hill. It's just the time it takes to get it all done. But no, I just think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. I have all these ideas, and eventually they need to leave my head, so I have to put them somewhere. So they'll come out and we'll make some stuff happen.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I feel like in my head there's so many things swirling around that it's like, okay, wait, let me just write it down. And now I'm good. But then once that happens, something else comes up in there.
I know. I'm just trying to manage my time. I'm booked through 2017, so it's like,
oh my goodness,
crazy,
Well, I hope you schedule some me time at some point.
Absolutely.
What do you do for someone who's so busy and so talented and so creative? Like, what do you do just as you unplug, you unwind, you refocus?
I cook.
Yeah.
I meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I spend time with my family.
Yes.
We hike. I like going to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just want to watch a movie that I've seen 30 times and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple life.
Unwinding, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know you guys who are watching live have some burning questions and comments for Crystal, and we're going to open up the phone lines very soon so that you guys can call in. Once I get the number up, because I don't know the number of this studio, we'll let you guys know. So go ahead and start thinking about your questions and comments, and feel free to give us a call here live in the studio. We welcome all questions and comments, but, you know, as always, be polite and professional and respectful.
Question that keeps popping into the chat room is, do Crystal and Peter still keep in touch?
I haven't spoken to Peter in a couple of years.
There you go, folks.
Yeah.
It's
but I haven't. I mean, I talk to Louise maybe twice a year, so it's just people moving on.
Yeah.
I think.
And so you have a lot of former co-stars on your show, Venice. Who do you keep in touch with or spend time with that you used to co-star with, if anyone?
You know, the first time I saw Nadia was at her baby shower in May. I mean, that's, you know, I think we're all, and I don't live in LA. That's the other thing. I don't live here. So I might see somebody once or twice a year. I kind of live up the coast a little bit, but you know, at events or when we shoot and that's what's fun about producing my own stuff, is that I kind of pull all the people I want to hang out with for a little while and catch up, and that's what we do.
Right. And put them to work.
And then put them to work, and but that's but I, you know, there are a lot of people at days that I stay in touch with, and of course Guiding Light, and even One Life to Live. Hillary Smith is a very good friend of mine, and you know,
so talented.
So talented. But there's something about the community. Once you're kind of in the community, even though you don't know somebody, or like you don't speak to them that much, or you're really acquaintances, you feel like you're family, because everyone understands what you do, and supportive.
Okay. So we have a caller live. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Spotlight On. You're on live with us and Crystal Chappell. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Judy. I'm calling from Oklahoma City.
Hello,
Hi, Judy.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful.
I've been a longtime fan since Crystal was first on Days, so she's just lovely.
Well, you're on live with her. Do you have a question or comment for her?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask her if how she's doing with the teenage boys, and if she's got them all ready for school in the middle of doing Venice 5 shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. They're teenagers.
Uh-oh.
You know, no, we've all been there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
and
you know
teenage
what it's
boys,
like.
but we can be something terrible.
No, and one summer he got in a car. He got T-boned. He's fine. Everyone was fine. He got T-boned with his new car. Oh. He had his first too much to drink thing, which he doesn't. He's an athlete, but I guess he thought he'd try it.
Yeah.
And got really sick, and you know, so we're trying to get it out of the way now. Mm-hmm. They're great though. They're very say that, but they're very, very mature young men, and yeah, they're going back to school on the 18th. I'm super happy for everybody involved.
For the 18th, 8 more days.
You know,
you won't know what to do with the spare time.
Oh yes, I will.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I will.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she has a list already.
We're excited to see Venice 5, so I'm glad you're getting into the post-production.
No, thank you, Judy, and I appreciate you asking about my kids.
Yes, thank you, Judy, for calling in.
You're very welcome. Love you, Crystal. Bye-bye.
Bye. And looks like we have another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Lisa from Loganville, Georgia.
Hey, Lisa from Georgia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Doing great. Did you have a question or comment for Crystal?
I sure do. Thank you for taking time for us fans. And I know you just had a birthday recently on Monday, I think, if I'm correct. Happy birthday week.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
birthday.
Month. Let's go month.
Oh, I do the same thing.
I know.
Yeah.
You got to. It's like,
Yeah.
it's your birthday month.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Special for your birthday, or?
Did I do anything special? You know, I spent some time with my family. We really just hung out, and again, we watched silly movies, and that to me is relaxing. I'm in my, you know, I get up really early. I don't know about you guys. I get up really early.
What's early?
At 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's early.
That's early.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, 6 a.m. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And
6 a.m. I'm still doing that first rollover where you look at the time and you're like, I got about a few more hours.
That's when I'm like ready to go. And so,
Yeah.
I love going to drive-in movies. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I wanted to do that on my birthday, but it's summertime and the days are longer. And the movie was started at like 8:45 at night. And I was going, I don't know. I can't. So I'm going to wait until winter and go see a movie. But otherwise, we just hung out. And my kids are so busy that I love hanging out with them, my husband. And that's just like a great night for us.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I just actually found out about the Venice series. I just started watching it, so thank you for answering my question. I wanted to know how to be able to watch the whole series, so y'all answer my question today.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, make sure you watch the entire. It's like one of those things you just sit and you just binge watch it.
You can. It's season 1 and 2 on YouTube, and then we have 3 and 4 on Vimeo. And season 5, the first 4 episodes will be out probably the end of September.
I know I saw the first couple episodes that had you and Galen in it, I believe. That's correct, but I was trying to find out where the rest of them were. So, yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
And we'll post information too on our Facebook page, Dish and Days, so that people will know where to find it as well.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Well, thank you, Lisa.
For your longtime fans.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great day. See, like all the fans are just super in love with you.
They're lovely.
Yeah,
They're
and
so lovely.
you guys, she's super lovable. Like, if you ever get a chance to meet her, like, she is so easygoing,
Easy
and
to talk
approachable.
to.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
so don't
we
be
hung out.
so don't be afraid.
We did hang out. According to your Wikipedia page, it says that you are working on an autobiography.
I did. I wrote it. It's out. It's called the Perfect Art of Imperfection, and it's a little beginning of my life, beginning to where I was a few years ago.
Got it.
Yeah.
What haven't you done that you would like to do? You've written, you've produced, you've acted, directed.
I want to direct more. I directed some of Venice this last go around. I want to create a digital platform that will house multiple shows and be interactive, and I've got a whole thing in my head that I'm working out on paper, and I kind of just want to stay in that space for a little while. It's intriguing to me, and and it's also really important that, and this is where these fans are so amazing, that I get to do what I do because I get to work from home. It's very important for me to have my time with my kids and my husband.
Yeah.
So I get to live on the Central Coast and work and come down and have fun with you guys and my soap friends, and
and then go back to the quietness.
And then I go back to the beach, just hitting the shore. Love it.
I love that. And if you guys are wanting to call in, make sure you give us a call here in the studio. The number is 424-256-1729. Again, that's 424-256-1729. Give us a call with your questions or comments. Call in, because I feel like I was supposed to say more, that moment where you were supposed to say more, and then your mind gets all fluttered, and then you're just like, I already said what to do.
Yeah.
So it definitely happened. So one thing that you did mention earlier, and I meant to ask earlier, was that you met your husband on... Wait, did you meet your husband on Days, or...
I did.
Days?
He was my first on-screen kiss.
Yeah. And look what happened.
There you go. That was some kiss.
Right? What was that like, especially like meeting on the show, and he was definitely a part of your storyline, and watching that grow, but also off camera your relationship grow. Like, how was that?
He's what ended up getting you buried alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what led up to that. Why did Vivian bury her? A fan will know that.
Wasn't she in love with Lawrence?
It was because she was she was going around injecting your patients with with cleaning fluid and killing them.
Nice woman. She's a nice woman, that Vivian.
Gosh, I'm gonna say something nasty to her on social media.
I don't know how you remember that, but I just had a flash flood of memories.
And then she started taking these herbal...
Dr. Wu.
Yes.
Dr. Wu too, because they recast him.
And then that made her do the buried alive thing.
Got it.
Yeah, and then once she got off of them, she came to her senses and dug you back
Okay.
up. Yeah, and that has been your rundown of that storyline.
I love it. Yes, I met my man there. So, but yeah, it's, we I just liked him. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Instant attraction.
Yes, he was very charming. I feel like I've known him in previous lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I first met him, I was like, oh,
I know you.
yeah, I know you
Yeah.
somewhere. So we had a very comfortable relationship from the beginning.
And is it because we've had a couple of people from the show on, and they've started relationships on the show, and is it when you're on the show, is it one of those things that you want to keep to yourself and not, and try to keep things or how do you keep things separate?
We've tried,
Yeah.
try to be very discreet and it's hard though because everyone's, it's a very public business.
Yeah, very public.
So it's hard
Yeah.
to do that. But, that's just, it is what it is. And,
Yeah.
26 years later,
Still going
Wow.
strong.
here we are.
We had a real life couple visit us on our spotlight on a couple weeks ago, and they were saying how they tried to keep it under wraps for a little while, and the cast was like,
Yeah.
"Hi, you two."
Yeah.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
I mean, you just know.
Yeah. I feel like we're having girl talk now.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's true. It is girl talk, and
Yeah.
you just you can't. But you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. But I guess people know.
Yeah.
Because it's such a acting is very interesting because you're not locked into like a computer or doing your numbers. You're acting and everything is very out there and emotional, so you can't when you have an attraction to somebody, it's kind of hard not to see it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you remember when you two decided to go public?
I think we went out somewhere together. I don't, I remember being at a friend's house and who was a producer of the show at the time, and I invited Michael over, and Missy Reeves was there, and she went, oh, you're dating, because I said I'm dating someone. My marriage was over, and I was dating this guy, and she goes, oh, it's Michael Sabatino, because she screen tested with him, and we were best friends on the show, and all of that. So we just sort of slowly showed up together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Places.
I see what's going on
Yeah.
here.
And you know what? I feel like I would have been like Missy. Like if I knew you back then, I would have been the one that's like, are you dating Michael? Like I would have been very much that person.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Now, I always like to find out, two things I like to find out. Any interesting fan encounters, because I feel like because you've had such a great career in soaps and you play all these different characters, and as fans we feel very attached to you and the people that you play. Did you ever have a situation where an interesting encounter with a fan? I'll leave it open like that.
There are people who just want to marry you,
Yes.
or they want to they talk to you like they know you maybe a little better than they actually do.
Yeah.
And there certainly would, depending on, like when I played Olivia, there was just all kinds of I was always the third wheel. I was always the one trying to break people up. So
You were just
I
used
was
to
ready
it.
when I came to Days, because
Yeah.
I've done it for 10 years and won a couple of Emmys doing that. So I was like, all right then. But there's always, when you're in that position, you're always opening yourself up to people who just very passionately about their rooting couple, and they don't know to say to go
To filter themselves?
Yeah.
Now, I know that on one show, I think it was Guiding Light, you originally auditioned for another role before landing the role
Annie.
of Olivia. Was it like that for any of the other soaps? Did you go in read for other characters and then maybe later on came back and played a completely different character?
No.
Just
that one.
Yeah. Because there have been a couple of people who've come in and said, oh, I originally auditioned for this role, and then years later, they called me in, and I got
I was
something else.
offered my dear friend Cassie DePie the Blair role.
On One Life to Live.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, nice. And we love Cassie.
Yeah.
She's a
She's a
huge
friend of the
fan
show.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you always think, like, what if, like, you were Blair, or, like, and she was someone else? It would have, like, how...
Oh, it all worked out the way it. Yeah.
The way it's supposed to.
She's a brilliant Blair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. I remember when I first met Cassie, was at a fan event, and I was with my mom, and people always think my mom is the fan of Days, and then they find out it's me.
That's fine.
And so that was the first time she ever tapped me and went, "That's Blair." And I was like, who? Because I didn't watch One Life to Live. She's like, "That's Blair from One Life to Live." And she for a moment, she had her first like, oh my, because she normally comes with me and she's like, "I don't know anyone. I'm just here with my son." But
you were like, "No, that's Eve."
Yeah. And there was that first moment she was like, "It's Blair." And then she went and talked to her, and they hit it off so well. So thank you, Mom.
Tina Vallis says, Crystal's Indiegogo campaign for Venice the Series 5 has brought many fans together for support. Can you talk about it?
Sure. Yes, we have a fundraiser going for Venice Season 5. We started it mid-May, and it's still in demand, and we're raising money for the season. So the fans have been amazing. We have some really cool perks on it. One of them is, in fact, I was just talking to Catherine Kelly Lang this morning. A couple of fans bought they're going bike riding with her because she's super athletic and gets out there. She's amazing. We have a little margarita night with Galen and Nadia and myself, and there are other things I'm trying, like I'm blanking on it, but we have double dates in New York and with Jessica Lucia and myself. But it's going on. You can go to VeniceTheSeries.com and check us out. It's on the Indiegogo. But they've been extremely generous and supportive. So,
and I think a lot of people don't realize, that even though you're doing it, in a digital space, it does still cost, a lot to still produce your own work. And it is important, for any funding, that or any help that you can get to really make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a big show.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's got a lot of people, and I buy bagels. I buy very fresh bagels, let me tell you.
Well, listen, if I were on set, I would thank you every day, because you give me a fresh bagel and I'm good. And cream cheese, like, you can get me to do anything.
Awesome.
Just
good
for
to
food.
know.
Just so you know.
Just for, you can call me and go, "Listen, I need you to do XYZ. All I can do is feed you." And I'll go, "Sold." As long as I get fed, I'm totally fine.
All right. You got a deal. I love it.
Never know what could happen now, folks. Now, what else do you have that's coming up that you're working on? Venice Season 5 is coming out, but I mean, it's just sitting here, I know something else is swirling.
There is definitely other stuff brewing.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I do. I have. It's very interesting. I have. It's more. The Indiegogo has done very well, and so other investors have come in, and so I'm doing that kind of stuff. I'm having meetings with people to talk about the future.
Yeah.
So it's more that kind of stuff. I'm working with a great producer named David Winkler. He's one of the producers of Creed, and he created a pilot, and I'm doing the marketing for his pilot.
Nice.
That's going to be coming out sometime, I think in January is when we're planning on launching it. It's called The Picture. It takes place in 1968. It's beautifully done, and so there's that. So I'm actually working in the digital space with him because it's something he's interested in. Gosh, the movie that I did in 2014, A Million Happy Nows, has gotten picked up. It's gotten distribution. And
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. That took 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, really, it takes that long, because daytime's just like this.
Just quick. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm going to take my kids back to school, and I go back into pre-production in the fall for the rest of Venice, which we're shooting in the first half of 2017.
Oh, wow.
We just shot 4 episodes, so we're going back in the first half of next year. So.
Wow.
I know you talked a little bit about me time and unwinding with a movie or whatever, but how do you balance such a busy schedule? How do you stay so organized with 100 different things going on?
I have a book, and I just write down, I schedule everything. So, I block time off, and then I let it go, and I move on to the next thing. I know it sounds really simple, but it works.
Is it as simple as it sounds?
It is, once you get past the idea that you don't have enough time for things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can just, not psych yourself out.
Don't think about that too much.
Don't. You shouldn't. You can do it. It's pretty amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it.
That's very true. And it looks like we have a caller calling in, and we'll take this caller. Hello, welcome to AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. You are on live. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, they're gone. I tried to catch them. They'll call back, I'm sure.
I think that's so interesting.
Right? Like, I always sit here and I always have to remind myself to look up to make sure that I don't miss any phone calls, because some fans are like, I've been trying to call in, and then I tend to miss it. I'm sorry. So if you're calling in, call back.
Are those the people that are on?
These are the people who are in the chat room right now.
Okay.
So as you can see, there's one question in in the chat room from Annie Goen, who asks if you still keep in touch with John Aniston.
Oh gosh, I haven't spoken. I saw him at the Emmys, I think 2 or 3 years ago. That's usually the time that we,
Come together.
Reunion.
everyone hangs out.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes off and does their own thing. But no, I haven't spoken, but I absolutely adore him. I think he's one of the funniest people walking.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Days 50th party?
I almost made it. I got all the way to LA because this is what happened. Trying to get I have to bring my dogs, and I had a puppy and my youngest son, and we got into LA traffic, and then my son got sick, and then my dog got sick, and then my husband fell asleep on the couch. And I was just sitting there going, boy, this is just not meant to be. So I sent some people some lovely, happy wishes, and then I this has turned into a family fiasco.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't quite make it, but it's a great honor, and I mean, they're amazing. 50 years is just extraordinary.
And when you hear that this show has been on for 50 years and you are definitely a part of that legacy, how does that make you feel?
Honored. It's a really beautiful honor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to have been a part of it, and I hope that they just keep going strong.
Yeah. Was there ever anyone, as you veered into this world of daytime, was there ever anyone that was like a mentor to you and someone that you could go to just kind of just talk to, or someone you felt like as you went through each soap and in each role that you felt like you just connected with?
I think my husband was a great sounding board for me. He's a pretty down-to-earth, reasonable guy, and so I sort of run things by him. But certainly, like I said, I've known Louise since my first go-around. Again, and just I guess a lot of the people who've come before me, I loved, people have given me good advice along the way.
Okay. Oh, we have a caller. Sorry.
No worries.
Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Angela Golden from Jackson, Georgia.
Well, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. Do you have a question or comment for Crystal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna see if she's ever gonna come back to Days, because she was great.
Well, thank you.
That has been the question that fans have had. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but
I have no plans at this point to go back to Days, but I really appreciate that. And I mean, what are you watching now?
So, are you, April? Are you watching?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening, y'all.
Oh, okay.
I love her accent.
Right. Oh, a southern
I just want to
accent
do
will
it.
get you.
Don't you want to just
A
do
new
it?
character for your show.
Well,
A southerner.
Well, she's bold. She's got an accent. She's like, she reminds me of Cassie DePivan. She's
Yes.
got a bold old southern accent, and I love it.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, April, for calling in.
How old is your son?
Jake is 16, and Dylan is almost 13.
I have 2 boys. I'm a single parent. I have 20-year-old William, and Brandon's almost 16.
Oh, so you're kind of in a little further ahead of me, but yeah, boys, they're keeping you busy.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
It's good seeing you, though. I mean, it's good to be able to come back to Days. I mean,
well, thank you so much.
Yes.
you're welcome.
Thank you, April.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
I love that. See y'all later.
Bye.
So we only have a couple more minutes with you, and I promise there's no coffin nearby that we're going to stick you in.
I don't do coffins anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
What did that have an effect on you at all? Like
Sure.
like doing that?
Yeah, no, I grew up in a very traditional, Catholic family where you get buried in coffins, and I think after that storyline I went, No, I think that I don't want to live. That's not where I'm going to end up. I'm
Yeah.
going to be cremated or wherever, but it's not going to be in a coffin.
Oh, wow.
I'm not doing boxes anymore.
Wow. Well, I kind of feel you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, but I wouldn't have known had I not done that storyline. So.
Right, well, maybe we all should just lay in a box.
Educational.
Okay,
Days of Our
Just
Lives
kinda
is
see.
an educational show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I mean, you've had such an amazing career. What's one thing that you take just from your experiences that you would share with others who, you know, maybe not necessarily trying to get into this field, but just in life?
You know, I think that you need to really learn to love yourself. And it's not being self-absorbed. It's loving yourself, which means you give yourself time, you give yourself, you know, just go easy on yourself and your spirit, and just heal, protect yourself, you know. I do it through meditation, or people do it through working out, or whatever it is, or you surround yourself with some very positive energy. You can't help others until you can help yourself.
Right.
And with that, there's a clarity that comes with your passions and what you want. And I truly believe that if you can clear yourself and you know what your passion is, and you want to get it, you'll achieve it. I truly believe that. If it's acting, if it's just being a good partner, whatever it is, you know, that's been amazing. It's an amazing, magical experience.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing, and thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you.
And with that, that's all the time that we have.
Can I just say thank you? Thank
Oh,
you.
no.
Thank
Much
you.
gratitude, and thanks to all the fans who watch and support me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, and thank you just for all that you've done, and the many characters that you have graced us with, and
all that you continue to do, really.
Yes,
you.
and the fond memories, and of what not to do, and what friends to have around you. Thank you for that, and we wish you much success with everything that's coming up with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, before we go anywhere, we have to share with you guys where you can find us on social media. So, Matthew, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Matthew E. Paine.
And of course, the ever so active Miss Crystal.
Crystal Chappell. I think it's just Crystal Chappell on a lot of different things.
Just everywhere. Just clean and
Search
simple.
for her and she'll be there.
I'm pretty sure.
And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. And of course, you can find us here every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a full recap of Days of Our Lives. Edition Days will be back doing the full recap after the Olympics on August 28th. We'll see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.